Alright, what's good guys? It's Techno here, your coach of the Carolina Pantherians, and today we are back with the CPC Season 5 draft analysis. Now, been a while since we've uploaded anything for CPC, but it is starting back up again, and yeah, I'm super excited to be a part of it. So, yeah, new draft from last time, all sorts of new stuff, a couple of new coaches, a lot of D-League coaches were added this season, and then a lot of people were added to D-League, so that's going to be cool. And yeah, like I said, really looking forward to it. As you guys probably know, we did win last season. We did beat A12 in the finals, and I felt like the playoff run was very, very good. However, the draft I got, just based on, like, it just wasn't incredible. I thought too much about, like, team, like, weakness synergy rather than team actual battle synergy. And that kind of screwed me over in the end. So I just had a bunch of like really slow mons. I had a bunch of like really slow mons with nothing to like take advantage of it. Then I had a lot of mons with a lot of 4x weaknesses, which I thought would be good, but it turns out it wasn't. Yeah, I just kind of had to bust out a lot of heat in the playoffs, which was kind of annoying to have to like prep so awkwardly. But either way, it should be fine, or it was fine, I guess. So yeah, that's going to be it for our talk on last season. So this season I kind of want to try out a couple of new things, like new stuff I haven't really used before. We are in a, it's the same type of draft as last season, so it is still points draft. And I believe we got a couple more points this time, I might be wrong though. Either way, I figured that right off the bat, a couple new mons were being introduced. One of them was Tapu Lele. I think that's the only one that was actually introduced, now that I think about it. But yeah, Tapu Lele was introduced, and thus spawned the 20-point category. So there were two mons that were 20 points. One of them was Tapu Lele, and the other one was indeed my first round pick. So I just wanted something that could really just destroy a lot of teams, just like be a threat every single week. So I decided to pick up Landorus Incarnate. So Landorus Incarnate I've never used before. And honestly, there's a reason this thing is banned into Ubers in the regular Smogon tiers, why it's banned for most leagues. Sheer Force with 115 base special attack, 125 attack, and then 101 base speed is absolutely incredible. Because this thing also gets like access to all sorts of different moves: Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Psychic, Rock Slide, U-Turn, and then it gets setup moves like Rock Polish, Calm Mind, Swords Dance. So it's basically like the other Landorus. It's not like the what am I saying? It's really not like the other Landorus. Honestly, the other Landorus functions really well as a Z user. It's also like a really nice defensive mon. This mon um, is very, very good offensively, and I just screwed that up. Sorry about that. But yeah, this mon's very, very good offensively. One of the best, in fact, offensively. Because Sheer Force with a Life Orb, and then whatever the hell you actually want to do with the rest of it, it just 2-KOs pretty much everything. The only real counters I can think of, the only real counter I can actually think of is Cresselia, or maybe even like Latios, which I'll get into in a sec. But yeah, because like even mons like Chansey, which can take its special hits very well. By the way, this thing does function slightly better as a special attacker because of the fact that Sheer Force and Life Orb do function better with those attacks on the special side. It's the same deal with Nidoking, even though it has higher attack. But either way, yeah, and Earth Power and Earthquake are both very good stabs to have. And then Stone Edge, nice Edgequake it gets. Flying moves, not really too necessary on this thing. This thing's also a nice ground resist, ground immunity, I guess. But anyways, back to my point. Yeah, like Mons like Chansey can't switch into it. By the way, Chansey wasn't even drafted, so I don't have to worry about that. But either way, like knockoff superpower, it just destroys Chansey if that's like what you decide to bring. So yeah, Landorus Incarnate is an incredible, incredible mon, and I'm super excited to use it this season. I didn't actually pick it as my Z-mon because I felt like it would be a lot better to actually just have like Life Orb, Sheer Force on it, which honestly was probably a good call on my part because my Z-mon is absolutely incredible with Z moves. But anyways, my next pick. So for my next pick, I drafted this team with the idea that I just kind of wanted Landorus to destroy everything. So, as I said, like one of the counters to this thing would be like a Colberberry Latios or something like that. So I was just like, okay, well, with my Landorus, I'm probably going to want like something. I'm gonna want like synergy later on. I'm gonna want something to like resist the hits that my other mons are weak to. So I also kind of wanted like I also felt like Landorus could synergize very well with this mon in terms of like breaking stuff. So the next one we did pick is actually going to be our Latias. I nicknamed it Cordova, not after the Halo character, but after an inside joke with my friends. Its ability is Levitate, and it's a Dragon Psychic type. And Latias is a very solid defensive and offensive mon. Now, with base 110 special, base 110 speed, it's able to hit 350 speed, which outspeeds pretty much like every threat, or not every threat, but it outspeeds a lot of threats. Outspeeds mons like like Keldeo, Terrakion. Um, obviously like outspeeds base 100s, but yeah, mainly like stuff like Keldeo and Terrakion can outspeed. Speed ties with a lot of really cool stuff too, or like a lot of really like threatening stuff like Gengar, all sorts of stuff like that. And this thing just gets a very nice move pool. Although its special attack is like quite like mediocre, it's 110. With its other stats like 80 HP, defense of 90, and then special defense of 130. 130 special defense, by the way, is absolutely insane. Um, but yeah, with stats like that, it can make up for its lower special attack, especially because it does get access to moves like Calm Mind, which really help boost it, because Calm Mind Latios is a huge threat in every single like tier or whatever you want to play with it in. But yeah, this thing also gets access to moves like Stealth. Does not get Stealth Rocks. I think I mentioned that Lando gets Stealth Rocks. I forget. Anyways, this thing gets access to moves like Psyshock, Thunderbolt, Draco. Draco and Psyshock are like some of the best moves to have on any offensive mons, especially because this is stab. And like if you couple that with the fact that like Soul do boost those attacks on Latios, then you're in a very good position. It also gets some really nice support moves. It gets Recover, which is really nice. Refresh, gets Healing Wish. Healing Wish is huge. I'm going to see how much I'm actually going to be using Healing Wish this season. I'm not sure about that one, but I think Healing Wish is a very good move to have on any mon. Just very solid in general, Healing Wish. Because like bringing back any mon, just like right back, is very, like, it's pretty crucial in some matchups. This thing also gets Wish, which is really nice. Gets Defog too, so I have a nice Defogger on my team now. And yeah, that's basically the idea with Latios. Now next pick, I kind of like realized I'm getting kind of weak to like Ice types. Bug types, like offensive bug types, could kind of put in a dent in my team. I also felt like I needed a bulky water at this point, so my next pick I actually went with Tapu Fini. I feel like Tapu Fini synergizes very well with my last two picks. Now, I love Tapu Fini. I think it's an incredible Pokemon. I don't think I've ever not had success with it just because of how incredible this thing is. With Misty Surge, you can't status it unless you get up like Toxic Spikes or you stall out the Misty Surge, which both can be a hassle to do. And then Water Fairy type. Water Fairy is just an incredible type. Although it does gain weaknesses to the Water types and the Fairy types, obviously, it also gives you some key like resistances that you otherwise wouldn't have. You resist Fire and Dragon, which is very nice to resist since they are both very threatening offensive types. You resist fighting types, which is incredible. So yeah, this thing gets some really nice resistances. Also, like with the things that speak to, like Grass and Electric, Latios takes those hits very well. Oh, not to mention it's also a Dark Resist. Dark Resist, another really good offensive type. Especially with knockoff spam everywhere, pretty much. So yeah, Tapu Fini. This thing also gets Calm Mind. You obviously running Scald on it is obviously like not like ideal for the main reason that if you run Scald on it, you basically only want that for like something in the air, because Misty Surge and Misty Terrain basically mean that you can't get Scald burns on mons on the ground if the Misty Surge is up, or Misty Terrain. Sorry. But yeah, moves with like Calm Mind, Taunt, Nature's Madness, with like base 85 speed, which is also very good. I also forgot to mention this thing has very good defensive stats. Really nice in SPDF, defense, HP. Just like it's very solid. All the Tapus are very solid. I don't like Tapu Bula very much, bro, though. Like I kind of realized that last season, but I feel like Tapu Fini is much better. and I feel like Tapu Fini is one of, like, honestly the best mons in the game. It doesn't have reliable recovery, but it really makes up for it just with like all the stuff it can do. It breaks through almost every wall in the game, breaks through bulky waters incredibly well with Calm Mind, Taunt, Moonblast, whatever you want to run on it. Um, so yeah, I'm very excited to use this thing. Get some really nice like other moves like Haze, Whirlpool, whatever you want to run on it. Like I said, Tapu Fini, great mon. Super excited to use it. So for my next pick, I wanted to kind of continue this core that I've got going on. Um, with like my water type and my fairy type, uh, and as well as my dragon type. So I want to finish out a dragon fairy steel core. Um, if I drafted Heatran, this would have been a perfect rounded fairy dragon steel fire water grass core. But no, I didn't draft Heatran. I actually drafted Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn. There we go. Um, and I feel like Ferrothorn is actually a very slept on Pokemon. I think Ferrothorn is very good. Although it does have that weakness to fire, as well as the close combat. I just say close combat, like fighting type weaknesses. I think that's about it. Fire and fighting that are actually super effective versus it. And although it doesn't resist a lot of things, it does resist some pretty cool stuff. It resists fairy. I don't have a fairy resist yet, so I now have that in my Ferrothorn. As well as the fact that this thing is just so ridiculously bulky. Like, a lot of these mons don't get reliable recovery, so a couple of things. One, that means that my Latios does come in handy with like wish support if I ever want to run that. And two, like, although they don't have reliable recovery, they don't really need it. Like, Ferrothorn has 74 HP, 131 defense, and 116 special defense, which is absolutely insane. Those stats are very good to have, as well as 94 base attack, which means that it's not going to be like it's gonna be beating down a lot of stuff if you're not careful. Like a lot of sweepers, if they go for like a Dragon Dance or something, Gyro Ball from this thing, since it does have like very low speed, it's gonna do quite a bit. Just because of how like offensively capable Ferrothorn also is. Anyways, into its moveset, it gets moves like Stealth Rocks, Spikes. I really like Spikes in League format. I think Spikes are incredible. Just really nice to have a Spiker on your team, I think, or that's just how I've always seen it. Um, and yeah, so it also gets moves like Power Whip, like we've like if it. But anyways, it gets moves like Swords Dance 2, Knockoff, gets Curse, which is really nice. Leech Seed, it's another very good move on it. Closest thing it gets to reliable recovery is indeed Leech Seed. But yeah, and yeah, Ferrothorn, very nice mon, really rounds out my team so far. And for my next mon, I decided that I kind of want to go with a more offensive mon. This mon I also like learned the Z moves, the Z move rules. Basically, you get Z status, and I think this mon with Z status is absolutely incredible, and I really didn't want anyone else picking it up. I think it also does synergize pretty well with my team with having a Volt Switch. You guys can probably see where this is going. My next mon I picked is going to be our Xurkitree. And Xurkitree is an insane Pokemon. I've used Xurkitree quite a bit on like the ladder and stuff, and I've consistently loved using it. It's just so offensively powerful with so many different like moves or tools that it can use. So as has been fabled like and like praised ever since this thing was like announced or released, this thing has 173 base special attack, which is absolutely nuts. Like nothing really wants to take a Thunderbolt or an Energy Ball or Hidden Power Rise from this thing, and like it also gets Tail Glow too, so that's insane. Um, the main thing that like holds this back is going to be the speed stat of 83, but fortunately Xurkitree I can run with. Okay, well first of all it has a really nice. It's like really good as a Scarfer because you can sweep through a lot of teams with it with just Thunderbolt or whatever type of spam you want to use. Second of all, the CPC rules mean that I can draft one Zmon that has Z status as well, and I decided to go with Xurkitree for that mon. So Z status Xurkitree is absolutely phenomenal because it gets three moves that really help out its speed stat. One of them is Z Hypnosis. If you want to run like a Tail Glow set, then that's probably the best option to go with. Another one's the Rain Dance, in case you want to run like Thunder or something. And then the last one is the Electric Terrain, which is my personal favorite because you get those boosted Thunderbolts off when you're in the Electric Terrain, and you get the speed boost. So yeah, Circuitry is very, very solid. Although it doesn't, it the main problem with Circuitry I felt like early on, and why I didn't use it much early on, is because it did not outspeed Pheromosa even after a speed boost, which was annoying. But now that Pheromosa is gone, it outspeeds pretty much everything in draft format that's viable with the speed boost, even Mega Aerodactyl. So that's very nice for Circuitry. It's not the best defensively, but what it does offensively is absolutely incredible, and I'm so excited to use it, especially because every time it gets a kill, it gets a beast boost, which makes it 5 times like even better. So yeah, that's gonna be Circuitry for us. Now the next mon I wanted was something that could kind of like round out the water grass fire water grass core, um, and I also wanted a spin blocker. I wanted just a couple of different things, and yeah, I decided to go with Chandelure. My team is pretty special heavy, by the way. I thought I'd mention that, but it should be fine for us. So Chandelure, Chandelure is a very, very cool Pokemon with Flame Body, Infiltrator, and Flash Fire. So a theme for my team is just very, very raw special offense. I feel like special offense, like, I don't know if it's better than there's no real better one in terms of those two, but I feel like they're both very good, and I just wanted to have an overwhelming special offense, and then a really good physical attacker at the end, which we'll go into in a sec. Um, but yeah, we have Chandelure, and Chandelure has 145 base special attack, which is absolutely nuts, along with like all the coverage it really needs. Fire Blast, or like fire coverage, ghost coverage, and energy ball is pretty much all you really need versus a lot of different mons in the game, which is very, very nice that Chandelure gets access to all of those, as well as the fact that Fire Ghost is a very, very good type for a couple of different mons. I'm not going to really get into what those mons are in case my opponents are watching, but I think it is a very, very solid type defensively if necessary. Um, and yeah, although it does have base 80 speed, it's still like it still outspeeds a couple of things that it like needs to outspeed, and then it can also get off big hits. If you get this thing in on the right mon, it'll basically get a kill no matter what, if you're like a spec set or whatever. But yeah, Chandelure is absolutely, it's a very, very good mon. Kind of slept on quite a bit in a lot of different leagues and stuff, but I've always liked Chandelure. I've always liked its design. I've always thought that it's just really, really good. Three really good abilities in Flame Body, Infiltrator, and Flash Fire. Now, most of the time, you're not going to be seeing Flame Body. Although it is a cool ability, it's very unreliable. Just depends on the matchup, I guess. Infiltrator is a very, very solid ability because there's a lot of times you can predict someone will bring a sub Pokemon, and yeah, this is kind of a way to kind of counteract that, because Infiltrator does obviously go through subs, and then Flash Fire is another very nice ability in case you want to switch into fire attacks and just not take any damage at all. So yeah, that's Chandelure for us. Really nice mon on the team, and I'm really excited to use it. So the next mon, these last couple of mons, basically I was running out of points because I did kind of use a lot of points on my first couple of picks. So I wanted a Defogger, I wanted another Rocker, and I wanted my Mega. So that's basically what we did go with for the last couple of picks. So I have, first up, I have Skuntank. So I have, I've used Skuntank a bit in the past. I've used it like once actually, and I have always kind of liked it. I thought it was a pretty good mon when I used it. I did have this really awesome sub Salicbury Belch Skuntank sweep in a playoffs game once, which was one of the key reasons I actually drafted this thing. But yeah, I think Skuntank's very good. I could have gotten Drapion, but this thing does have a couple of things that Drapion doesn't. First of all, it has priority in Sucker Punch, which none of the other mons on my team have, except for, I think, Latios, which doesn't use it well. It gets, obviously, Pursuit, which so does Drapion. It doesn't get Toxic Spikes, but I was fine, like, foregoing Toxic Spikes to get, like, Defog, as well as, like, yeah, like Sucker Punch, I kind of needed priority on this thing. Aftermath is also a very, very cool ability, which I also wanted to use. Um, and I think Aftermath, by the way, is probably one of the best abilities in the game, just because like you're able to come in on so many like different things, and just do whatever to them, because of Aftermath, pretty much alone. So yeah, that's kind of a really cool thing to have on one of your mons. Really nice, like it's pretty okay defensively, um, but it gets the job done when it needs to. It's also like nice offensively. It gets Fire Blast, which is kind of cool to have for like mons like Fortress. Not Fair Throne, obviously, because I do have that, as well as like Skarmory if I want to bait that in. Um, and yeah, Skuntank is just a very, very cool Pokemon, and I'm very excited to use it. So, next mon I got is probably one of my favorite mons in draft format nowadays, and that's going to be Gigalith. When I say favorite mons, I mean like favorite low tier mons, but this thing still is up there for one of my favorites. So yeah, Gigalith is honestly very, very underrated. I think Gigalith is a very, very good Pokemon, and I'm gonna get into why in a sec. So it's obviously not the fastest at all. Its special defense is pretty lackluster, but with access to Sandstream, you get that special defense boost, and its like attack stat is like what 130, which is absolutely incredible. Its defense stats is also just very, very nice. I think it might be even more than 130. I'll actually check right now as I'm talking about this. But yeah, Gigalith is a very nice mon for my team for a couple reasons. One of them being that like now I have another rocker. Before I only had like two, and it's always nice to have a couple more. Especially because I don't really want to use my Landorus as my rocker too much, and the fact that I also can now like run more moves on Ferrothorn if I want to, and not pressure it into running rocks. Yeah, its attack stat is 135 and its defense is 130, which is absolutely incredible, especially with 80 HP, which isn't bad. Sandstream is also very, very nice for my team. Um, because it obviously gives this thing a special defense boost, and it also means that if I want to be cheeky one week and run like a Scarf Sandforce Landorus, then I can probably do that with the help of my Gigalith. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, it is pretty slow, but it does take a lot of hits very well and fires off a lot of hits really well back. It gets like Heavy Slam, Earthquake, Stone Edge, Curse, Explosion, obviously gets Toxic. I think it's just very, very solid. I don't know why people always sleep on this thing. But yeah, Gigalith I think is one of the coolest mons in the game, and I really, really like it, and I'm very excited to have it on my CPC team. I've used it like quite a bit in the past. One of them was in MPL Division 2 where it helped me go 9-1. And then the other one was in the March Madness tournament, um, where we did make, I believe, top 32. And then I also used it on my first ever Sun and Moon ladder team, which got to like top 20. But yeah, Gigalith is a very, very solid mon, and I'm very excited to use it. So the last mon we have on our team, and we did only have 9 picks because I did kind of blow out a lot of points. But either way, the last mon on our team is going to be my Mega, and I only have 8 points left, and I planned this pick from the start. So yeah, basically this is a mod I've always wanted to use. Never gotten to use really in the draft format. I've only used it like once, and it wasn't really for long, because the league disbanded. And I think this mod, although it's obviously not the best, I think it's very cool. I think it like does what it needs to do very well. And that mod is going to be Mega Glalie. So Mega Glalie is very, very slept on in draft format because of the fact that, okay, one, its speed isn't the best, and two, just having like Ice Stab and Earthquake and whatever can be pretty easily walled by a couple of different mons. But not really though, and that's why I love Mega Glalie, because it's so offensively powerful. I believe it has 120 base attack and then 120 base special attack. I'll actually check right now. But yeah, Mega Glalie, I had it in, yeah, I had it a while ago. Didn't get to use it too much, but I did love it when I had it, and I haven't really used it ever since. And I think that there's a lot of potential for Mega Glalie in the draft league format. Although people do obviously not like pick it over other like significantly like better megas, but freeze dry and like refrigerate boosted returns, double edges, explosions, the most powerful explosion in the game, are all very, very nice in this thing. This thing also gets spikes, as well as like Iron Head Crunch for a couple of different mons that it can run through. So yeah, Mega Glalie, although it is not great, it does do the job pretty well. So I'm very excited to use it. And yeah, so here is our team. And like, although it's not like the best, I think it is still pretty good. And you guys can see like I am very special heavy. I do have a lot of specially offensive mons, but the mons I have that are offensively like very good, especially offensively, are all very good. As I said, yeah. So like Landorus, Circuitry, Chandelure, all very nice. And I think that if I just prep smart with this team, I'll be able to win quite a few games, maybe even make it back to playoffs, then do whatever I want to. Hopefully, I can get out of my bad tilt in the CPC, um, which is obviously the goal. I obviously don't want to lose a lot of games. But yeah, that's going to be our team. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time with our CPC battles. Peace.